Forget about what you've heard about rumors of Javi Simons coming or whichever wingers who might be linked with Man United. This is Amad Diallo's year, and in this second game of preseason, he has proved it as he put on a man of the match performance as Man United won for the first time in preseason, beating Rangers by 2-0. But what a performance from Amad. We'll talk about it in a bit. But also, Leny Yoro making a quick, comfortable debut. We've got a gem on our hands. This is Man United in your style. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe as we do get into this match reaction of our second and more exciting preseason game that was played against Rangers. So it was, first of all, a surprise, honestly, for me that Yoro started. I knew he was going to make his debut. I was only hoping he would come on in the second half. But guess what? Erik ten Hag had no time to waste as he fielded a lineup sort of close to what we should expect when the season starts. Because if you got Andre Onana in goal, you have Wan Bissaka on the right, you've got Leny Yoro next to Johnny Evans, then you have Casemiro in the middle. He plays next to Toby Collyer, who I think might be the revelation of this preseason. Take note of that name, Toby Collyer. I'll talk about him in a jiffy. Then up front, Amad. Then Jadon Sancho, of course, a senior player, but he was still lost in the game. I did not feel him that much. But for me, the talk of the game is two things. Amad Diallo enjoying himself. First of all, he looks like he has put on some muscle. I think he has spent some time in Ivory Coast eating a bit of posho or fufu and whatever they call it in Ivory Coast. I don't know anyhow. But he's probably been working on his muscle because he looks more physical and more firm on the ground. And trust you me, when that happens, because the way he plays, he needs to be strong because he's going to be running through a forest of legs. So you need to have a certain level of strength. I feel like that is an important part to improve on his game, and clearly it is being worked on. But what a performance from Amad Diallo. And again, I am thinking, if Erik ten Hag does not give Amad Diallo that chance on the right, then there will be problems. And I know very soon Man United will be going into talks with him over a new contract because remember his contract runs out at the end of the next summer. United should be tying him down. But the performance he put on, and I know it's a preseason game. Of course, we're not playing against the biggest players out there, not Premier League status. But let me tell you, the way this boy plays with confidence, he does the same things he will do against Arsenal with ease, with enviable ease. Amad is of age, he's a baller. There are no more concerns about him being injured for some time. He was injured and all. That's wastage of time. This is the time for that boy to pick up that right wing, take it for himself, and let Alejandro Garnacho focus on the left wing. Trust you me, with that performances like that, Marcus Rashford should take his transfer request and hand it in. Marcus Rashford should hand in his transfer request because, trust you me, he doesn't seem like he has a future with the kids that we're having. But then also, Leny Yoro, his performance on his debut, confident as the word. For a young 18-year-old kid to be making your debut for Manchester United, you've got no right whatsoever to be that confident. This boy was impeccable in 1v1 situations in the first 45 minutes he played. He was going into tackles confidently and attacking the ball, playing against bigger defenders. His speed and strength are unbelievable. Two, his communication. Because for a centre back, and I remember Rio Ferdinand saying this, if you're going to be a top centre back, you've got to communicate. This is one of the things Rio Ferdinand kept saying that lacks in the game of centre backs today. They don't talk. A centre back has got to communicate because you're seeing the pitch from a whole different view. You're behind everyone. A centre back and the goalkeeper should be talking. With the centre back, it's even more because you're an outfield player and your view of the game, your understanding of the game and movement of the game is different. You've got to communicate. Leny Yoro on his debut, first game, and he's communicating and bellowing instructions like he's been there all his life. He's only 18. Boy, this is a gem on our hands. We've got a gem on our hands. Ineos! Well done, fam. Well done. We understand why now you had to rush and snatch him from the hands of the praying Real Madrid. Now, the other thing that this boy is good at, and this we've known about his game, is passing the ball. I think I said that about him here when we were first linked with him. His ball passing, the first pass he played, that diagonal pass was perfect, inch perfect. And you might think it's easy to pull off such a pass. It's not, because at that level you're timid. And this is the thing why what makes Leny Yoro, players like Leny Yoro, Kobe Maino, Garnacho special is not being afraid to do things that are daring. You would imagine for a player like Leny Yoro coming from a League One club from Lille, your first game at Man United in front of such a crowd, you've got no right to play with that confidence and swagger. It showed that now that's exactly what we saw Kobe Maino do in his first game for Man United. That's exactly what Garnacho, has been doing for a long time in his first full season. This shows you a player whose levels are beyond the ordinary, and that is why Man United were willing to pay more than 60 million quid for a boy who is only 18 and refused to pay the same amount of money for Gerard Branthwaite, who is even proven in the English Premier League. This is the gem we've got on our hands. I'll tell you, this Man United that's coming is going to get us a few more enemies. Trust you me, it is going to get us a few more enemies. Now, the other boy that I think has performed, and I get a feeling that he might have the chance because every preseason, and Erik ten Hag, part of his KPI as the manager of Man United is at the end of the season when they are reviewing his performances, they need to reflect on certain areas because as a manager at that level must have clear KPIs, and what part of them is improving or giving chances to youngsters from the academy. Now, clearly, this is the period when you get to test them. And I feel like, and from the first two games we've played, the one against Rosenborg, which we lost, and this one, I feel like this boy, Toby Collyer, is throwing in a ring for himself. I feel like he might be the next boy who will be introduced into the team. Perhaps he might not be at the levels of Kobe Maino, and he doesn't have to be, but just being introduced into the senior team next season for me is big enough. I feel like he played extremely well in both games. He's playing in the middle. He played extremely well for a defensive midfielder. I feel like he can be part of the rotation for that uh, for that position because he was playing with Casemiro in the middle. I thought he threw in a ring for himself to try and be promoted into the senior team for the greater good. So for me, it was a top performance. Man of the match for me, without a shadow of a doubt, was that man, Amad Diallo, again making the case. Now, Sancho struggled. Of course, it's been a while since he played football a game for Man United. First game there, probably his confidence wasn't 100%, but he started the game, didn't look so exciting and fresh, of course, off the left where he loves to come from. But we'll judge him from the next game because now the official battles are next because we are now going to the preseason tour in the United States in LA, which is a little hotter, it's a little warmer. So the next game for Man United will be up against the Gunners. We take on Arsenal on the 28th of July. That is in LA. Beautiful game. Probably we shall have a watch along for that one. Because, of course, it will be early in the morning. Your people never wake up early to enjoy such watch alongs. But my hope is that I'll be here to give it to you live. But what a beautiful, beautiful game we had. And the other thing, generally, for the team, by the way, as I wrap up, the other thing I noticed in this game were the patterns. The patterns of play are different. The fluidity with which the team flows, the way they are pressing, the way they transit the ball. You see what Erik ten Hag is doing, and you're thinking if he has all his players in and they continue like this, again, the biggest problem that he's got to solve for Man United, that's the playing style. I feel will be a walk in the park for him. You see the semblance of patterns being developed in this team, and that for me is the hard work that we needed in the team. Drop down a comment if you've watched the game and let me know what you think. But fam, Ahmad is the player to watch next season. Anthony, Erik ten Hag was waxing lyric about him before the game, but no one wants to hear about Anthony now. I mean, bench Ahmad next season. Even the admin of Man United on X was saying, Mr. Popular. That's what Ahmad is called. I think everyone loves him. Why wouldn't you? He's such a baller, man. And he's left-footed like me. So that even makes him more likable. He might be the next player I'm pushing for, like I pushed for Kobe in the last season. Probably Kobe has arrived. I think the next one I should push. Next project. This season is Project Ahmad. But there is a lot. There is Zachzy, Yoro. Man, this season is going to be confusing. I'm out of this place. Catch you later, fam.